What's up, beautiful people? It's SINDYAKPOLO. Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be checking this video and it's titled 10 things in the British culture impossible to explain to non-Brits. Interesting. I think I fit in this category, so yeah, I'm excited to check this one out, to hear what they've got to say. Let's check it out.
I love to laugh.
Toast, I've been meaning to talk to you.
You're talking to me now?
Yes. It's about the sense of humour issue.
I have a terrific sense of humour. It's just very dry.
Welcome to Watch Mojo UK, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 things in British culture impossible to explain to non-Brits.
It's not quite nasal enough the way you're doing it, all right? You're not doing it the way he speaks. You're not doing it with the kind of... And you don't do the broken voice when he gets very emotional.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
For this list, we'll be looking at a few causes of cultural confusion that are unique to the small island we call home. What do you find weird about the UK? Let us know in the comments. Number 10. Marmite. A dark brown savoury spread invented in the late 19th century and made from yeast extract sludge left over from brewing beer. Sounds yummy. Well, actually, it doesn't. But Marmite fans know the very real joy it can bring when spread thinly on hot buttered toast, with a fresh brewed cup of tea to balance out the salty flavour.
Doesn't take long before new recruit Callum Howe finds another jar in a shocking state.
Oh no.
What's the matter?
It's a baby one.
Okay, don't panic.
It's not been used in months.
Not all Brits feel the same though, and Marmite is famously marketed as a polarising food that you either love or hate. The proper stuff is only manufactured in the UK in the Burton-on-Trent Marmite factory. It's been there since 1902 and produces roughly 50 million jars in a year. And no, Australia, Vegemite is not as good. Number 9. Public schools are private schools.
Settle down.
You'll often hear it said that our country is run by public school boys. However, this doesn't mean what it might in other parts of the world. It doesn't imply that these politicians went to state-funded institutions and pulled themselves up by their bootstraps. It suggests that they were born into extreme privilege and attended some of the most prestigious fee-paying schools in the world. In the UK, we refer to schools for the general public as state schools, and private schools for the wealthy as public schools or independent schools. Except not all private schools are called public schools. Some do actually call themselves private schools, and most call themselves charities too. Registered charities. Confused yet? No more than you should be. Number 8. Insults are our love language. Terms of affection and endearment are different the world over. In the UK, you know that someone feels comfortable around you if they insult you to your face. Or they might just be rude.
They're not jokes as such, they're just little things to say. Yeah, it's probably fine in the hands of taxi drivers, or cockneys, or even Geordies.
When you've lived here long enough, you'll learn to tell the difference. Sarcasm may be the lowest form of wit, but it's also a great tool for masking social awkwardness. It stops conversations becoming too serious, and fends off the Brits' greatest fear, earnestness. We spend so much time being generally polite, no one wants to put that wall up around their own friends and family.
You know what you are? You're a big bag of shit!
It doesn't mean we love each other any less, but where's the fun in life without some friendly teasing? Deadpan delivery required, of course. Number 7. Town names.
Hold on. Public schools or private schools? I mean, the school part, that is actually confusing. Because I didn't know that. I always know, like in Nigeria where I'm from, we know that a private school is a private school, a public school is a public school regardless. And also my mates, it looks like jelly. That is what I know. That looks interesting though. Let me know if you love it or you just stopped eating it for some weird reason, because I know some people love it to an extent or love some things to an extent and they just do away with it. But let's even go to the insult as love language and sarcasm and all. I know for a fact, like Nigerians, we always like include some sort of sarcasm, insults, and all of that. Doesn't mean like the person necessarily hates you or is rude per se. So when I saw that, I just smiled, because I mean that I guess at this point Nigeria actually took a beat out of the Brits, because that is how, like, sometimes some people be like Nigerians are too sarcastic. But I mean, that is just part of us. I mean, people are just damn too serious sometimes, and I just want to lighten the air. But this is interesting. I've had few Brit friends, and yeah, lots of them exhibit this, so it's not even uncommon to hear this. But again, some people also differ, so it depends on the kind of person or the kind of people you meet. But also, let me know what if you're non-Brit, let me know your interactions with Brits and how you feel about them. And sometimes there are some stereotypes about them that lots of people assume to be true, and sometimes it differs from person to person. But this is interesting. Let's go on.
Number 7. Town names and their pronunciation. British place names are famously difficult for tourists to get their head around. Even native-born Brits will get tripped up at some point. The English language has a checkered history. You can blame most of the confusion on the Romans, Anglo-Saxons, and the Vikings. Also the French and the Celts. Being able to pronounce the name of Welsh village has even become something of a party piece.
Up the road from the temperature got to 21 Celsius.
When you take pronunciation out of the equation, however, there are still a lot of place names that sound like somebody might be having you on. From Fatty Head to Scratchy Bottom, there are oddly named towns in every corner of the British Isles. Number 6. The variety of accents.
When it gets loudly, it gets very loud indeed. It gets very specific. It's not quite nasal enough the way you're doing it, all right? You're not doing it the way he speaks.
Every country has its own differences in dialect and accent, even if it's difficult for an outsider to hear the nuance. But for such a small place, the UK does seem to have a disproportionate amount of variety. For a long time, a British accent was generally thought of as standard received pronunciation. But with the world opening up, regional accents are gradually becoming more familiar to foreign ears.
What I'm saying is that, like, they had themselves proper jobs, you know, what I can tell, then they wouldn't date. You know, a lot of them's from broken homes.
Sorry, that was just a noise.
A Glasgow accent is very different from a Newcastle accent,
Really?
which is different from a Birmingham accent.
You're a good man. And a good soldier.
People in the countryside don't sound the same as those in the town. Some people in Wales and Scotland even speak a whole different language.
Really?
And nobody speaks like Dick Van Dyke, bless him.
All right, I'll do it myself.
Number 5. Hot and cold taps.
Oh, I know this.
There are a few questions that non-natives tend to have about British bathrooms. The no-plugs thing is clearly a health and safety issue. The carpets are about keeping warm, but separate taps for hot and cold, they're a bit more difficult to justify. We do have our reasons, they're just not really relevant anymore. Historically, cold water came from the mains and was safe to drink.
I'm quite all right, Barbara. I ran it under a cold tap.
Hot water was a later addition to UK households. When it did arrive, it was usually heated in a tank in the loft, therefore it wasn't as fresh. Modern bathrooms do sometimes have mixer taps, they've just not really caught on yet. Number 4.
Oh, I know that part. Well, I don't think it will be surprising or shocking for me or confusing for me to hear some names, some town names. Because I mean, even here in Nigeria, we have some kind of like weird town names. Sometimes you wonder like what is going on, and sometimes some of the names look alike, so it kind of be confusing depending on region, from place to place and from region to region. But let's talk about the British accent. I love the British accent, like I love it to the core. Maybe because I kind of worked with a bit lots of Brits. It's amazing, it's incredible, and at some point, I kind of like wanted to learn it, but I still find it really interesting. Like when I hear people speak in the British accent, I just be like, I miss those days. Why just didn't I learn it? But no. I really do love it. Honestly, sometimes I try to pay attention to the differences and how people sound speaking it. Sometimes it is clear, sometimes it is not clear, sometimes you wouldn't even know the difference. The one I know that I can actually tell the difference is when an Australian speaks and a Brit speaks, and then I know the difference between both. But in British as per se, I wouldn't easily pick up or tell the difference. But let's talk about the hot and cold water tap. We also have it here in Nigeria. Like, lots of homes do have it. Sometimes it's a mix of both together in one tap, sometimes it's separate. I remember that's something I can't forget. So I mean, I was actually expecting something different, but a lot of these are kind of like similar, related. It's not uncommon because I mean the British colonized Nigeria, so I mean it's not uncommon for Nigeria to adopt some of this or have a bit of this. But this is interesting. I'm loving it. Let's go on.
Mixer taps, they've just not really caught on yet. Number 4, the tea obsession. No, Britain is not the only country to enjoy a nice cup of tea.
Do you know, I can't remember the last time I had a good cup of chai.
But we are quite singular in the way we take it. It's
Really?
possibly only the Irish who also understand this one. For the real tea drinker, you must understand this is not just a casual beverage. It is usually an addiction, begun in late childhood. A cup of tea can be a
Yes.
consolation, an offer of friendship, or a gauge of how long a visitor is going to stay. When a British person says tea, they do not mean chamomile or green or iced. They mean English breakfast.
Yeah.
Usually with milk and often with sugar. And please, don't leave the tea bag in the cup.
Tea Earl Grey hot.
Number 3, metric or imperial. The UK officially adopted the metric system in 1965. That's over 50 years ago. It's what they use in Europe. It's what we learn in school. It's a much simpler way of working things out, as you're working with units of 10, not 12. So why do we still weigh ourselves in pounds and stone? Measure our height in feet and inches? Travel in miles? Buy beer and milk in pints? The older generation will occasionally still tell you the temperature in Fahrenheit. Shouldn't we have acclimatized by now? No one under the age of 70 grew up under the imperial system. Good luck explaining this to anyone outside Britain, because it makes no sense at all. Number 2, baked beans for breakfast. British food has never had a great reputation with the rest of the world. We traditionally choose hearty, comforting food, and that's okay. We need it in our climate. However, if there's one British dish that visitors really can't fathom, it's the humble beans on toast. Baked beans are a staple for the average Brit. Usually eaten as part of a fried breakfast or as a quick snacky tea, sometimes they're just what you need. They are eaten elsewhere in the world, but you'd be more likely to find them at a barbecue than on a breakfast table. No one else has taken this simple convenience food to their hearts quite like us. Number 1. What is the country actually called? The United Kingdom.
Which
Great
is it
Britain,
exactly?
The British Isles. So which is
Okay.
it? Well, the British Isles is a geographical term. It describes a group of islands including Great Britain, the island of Ireland,
Okay.
the Isle of Man, the Scottish Isles, and the Scilly Isles. Great Britain is the biggest island in the group
Wales,
and is
okay.
made up of England, Scotland, and Wales. The United Kingdom is a political union. Full name, the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland.
And Northern
It includes
Ireland.
England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland.
Okay.
The red, white, and blue flag is the Union flag, or Union Jack, and is composed of
Oh.
flags from England, Scotland, and Northern Ireland, but not Wales. Got it?
You agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from Watch Mojo UK and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to...
Interesting. The tea part is actually true, because I mean, my days of 9 to 5, I worked with a lot of Brits, and sometimes like I ask and I wonder, like, what is your exception with tea? They don't miss it, like every day, every goddamn day. So it was almost like I started growing towards it, but then when a bit of Americans started coming in, and also like a mix of Brits and Americans. Then I drifted from tea to coffee. So I mean, that part, I know about that part. And in fact, that I remember that those times it was like, yo, it was crazy. And my dad, for some weird reason, my dad loves tea. But yo, this is interesting. For the baked beans as well, that is true. Oh my god, it is not even surprising, maybe because I had like a bit of mix and working with them, so it's actually not confusing though. And also I've wondered and asked this question, which is actually the name now, a great thing to know and to learn, which I'm also going to do my watch findings to familiarize myself with it, because I've sometimes I get confused with knowing if it Great Britain, UK, the British Isle, and also I really want to know how to place it. But now I think I got a bit of sense of idea of what it truly is. But this is interesting though. So some of it are actually not surprising or not confusing to me, because I mean, I kind of like knew about some of this. So I mean, it is interesting though. Let me know what you think about this. Do you agree with any of this shared here in this video, or you have your thoughts about it, or there are more that you think people should know about? And if you've got videos like that, you can also share in the comment down below so we can learn as well. But this is interesting. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment down below. I'm sure tons of people have interesting things to share. I would really love to share that. Can share the useful information I think might be really helpful. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and all of that stuff. And until next time, see you in the next video.